Let's talk about strengthening your immune system. Here we are at the tail end of summer 2021, at least in the northern hemisphere. And no matter what time of year, it's just great to have a strong immune system, an appropriate immune system, that is, not one that's hypervigilant or overactive, or one that is depressed and not working enough, correct? So what we want to do is do things in our lives to help our immune system work in an appropriate fashion that makes sense to us any time of year. And of course, when we get into flu season, seasonal flu, colds and viruses and so forth, it's nice to have that great immune response, right? So with seasonal flu, sometimes you hear H1N1, sometimes they get named, sometimes you might hear SARS-CoV-1 gets named, or there's one that's made the news once in a while lately called SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 that's maybe been in the news as another seasonal flu, right? So it's just nice to have a stronger immune system. Now keep in mind, when you look at COVID-19, the people that unfortunately get sick and succumb to it, for the most part, are older people with chronic diseases. It really hasn't affected children. And that's very similar to most seasonal flus that we see, right? Most of them. It's going to affect people that are older and having some health issues. So if we can knock down our health issues and reduce our chances of chronic disease, our immune system gets stronger, we can handle those viruses that are all around us all the time. And remember that there are trillions upon trillions of viruses on the planet. We have to coexist with them. We can't try to destroy them or hide from them. You just can't do it. It's impossible. If we all of a sudden destroyed all of the viruses on planet Earth right now, life would cease to exist because we're supposed to coexist with them, right? So we just need to keep that in mind. And part of that coexistence is an appropriate immune system response of what's going on with our innate and our acquired immune system. Let's get into that. So the list is first nutrition. Everybody knows if you have healthy nutrition, you're going to have a healthier system. If you just think of the complexity of the body, you have 50 trillion cells in your body. 50 trillion. I just counted yours. Since you've been watching me right now, I counted yours, and you have 50 trillion cells in your body. So if you think about it, all we are as humans is a pile of cells. We're just a pile of cells. These cells have differentiated a little bit into other tissues and systems, right? So we've got brain cells, which gives us the brain and our human ability to have emotions and memory and make changes and decisions and so forth, right? And then we have skin cells and digestive system cells and blood cells and of course immune system cells, which we're talking about here. But if you look at that complexity and beauty and magnificence of the body, you start having an appreciation like, wow, this was given to me for free. Let's take good care of it. Let's put the best gas that we can in the gas tank of that beautiful car that we overvalue. And let's make sure we take care of this vehicle that's been given to us, this vehicle here. If you think of each cell by itself is a city. Do you remember from biology when we studied all the things inside it? The endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes and vacuoles and the nucleus and nucleolus, and then you've got, which we've all learned about more recently, DNA, RNA, messenger RNA, all of these kind of things. So inside of one cell, you've got this amazing complex system, a living city. It's a living city all by itself. So you've got 50 trillion of those, right? And then inside each cell, except for a red blood cell, not a red blood cell, but inside of each cell, you've got a full copy of your DNA, 23,000 pages. And I'm just talking about the DNA strand inside the nucleus. I'm not even talking about all those other structures on the outside. Well, why am I talking about this? Because I want you to just remember, take a step back for a moment and just remember this miraculous body that we were gifted with, that we should appreciate maybe a little bit more, have a little more gratitude for it, and just take into account the things that we do, the choices that we make affect the outcome on how well this machine is going to last. Of course, there are things out of our control, but much of it is in our control. How long it's going to last and how well it's going to function during that lifespan of this beautiful machine, right? So that's why when I talk about nutrition, I could just say, eat more vegetables. Okay, let's move on to step 2, but having that beauty and appreciation of what is actually going on in here. When you eat food, it's converted through a miraculous gymnastic process of breakdown and absorption and so forth to get fuel and nutrients into the cells, into that one city, that one cell. And inside that cell are wood stoves, and the wood stoves burn fuel. And you burn that glucose, if you will, and it enters into the energy system. And I'll make some of you shiver when you study this in high school and college and so forth, the Krebs cycle, right? Well, that we'll get into the supplement thing a little bit later on here. So we're consuming food to convert to fuel that's absorbed by the cells, these beautiful cells that we have. And then the wood stoves work, mitochondria in our cells. The wood stoves burn the fuel, and then that cell can do whatever that cell needs to do, okay? If your bone marrow and you're producing white blood cells to start triggering into the immune system and so forth, it's going to do that better. Or if you're healing from something, or if you want a healthy heart, or a good cardiovascular system, digestive system, you want a good functioning brain. If you're going to live 90, 95, 100 years old, you want to make sure the brain is working, right? You don't want to get type 3 diabetes of the brain, which is Alzheimer's. You don't want to get that. So read Dr. Dale Bredesen's book, read Dr. Perlmutter's books about brain and protecting your brain to make sure that that gets better, because there's the nutritional component about making sure that your brain stays healthy as you go along, not just your immune system. So I've done 4,000 or 5,000 shows on nutrition since we've been doing the show here. So you can go back and look, but I think most of you already know what you should be doing and should not be doing, okay? So the reason I'm going to park on this for just a moment is there are forces that have deliberately changed food products to make them addictive. So you can't say no, I can't say no, all right? And if you get a little bit angry about that, that's exactly what I want you to do, because I want you to fight the fight of staying away from the stuff that is purposely made addictive by packaging and commercials and taste enhancers and lots of sugar and high fructose corn syrup, fake ingredients, glutamate, monosodium glutamate, and all the other taste enhancers that are hidden in there. They make them addictive, and that's why I can ask people. I just got into the conversation with this yesterday with a patient. I asked them what their favorite dessert was, and they said, I love hot fudge sundaes. I said, okay, I put a hot fudge sundae in front of you. I want you to take 1 spoonful, put it back in the freezer until tomorrow. Can you do that? And then I had to whisper to her, because she was processing what I was getting at. I whispered to her, say no, say no. No, she said no. Okay. Then I said, I put a bowl of raw broccoli in front of you. Can you have 1 piece and put it back in the fridge and save it till tomorrow? And then she paused and I said, say yes, say yes. So she said yes. So she played the game with me. And I said, see, this one over here, hot fudge sundae, you kind of can't stop. This one over here, broccoli, kind of good for us. You can kind of stop, you see? So foods have been changed and manipulated. And one of the great books by Robert Lustig, actually a couple of books, 3 books now, the pediatric endocrinologist out of California, who wrote Fat Chance and the Hacking of the American Mind. And he has another book, which I haven't read yet, which I'm sure is going to be stellar good. Robert Lustig, read his stuff. He's going to talk about why do we have an explosion of obese 6-month-olds? That's not adding up. What are we doing? And that sent him down this rabbit hole of where he is right now. And he's super critical on the system like we're talking about right now. So nutrition for immune system. Okay, so we're supposed to have fruit, but remember, don't drink any calories. Don't drink any calories. That one step has been a great benefit to a lot of people. No drinking of any calories. So no soda, no juice, no sport drinks, no diet soda, no diet sport drinks, no diet powdered drink mix thingies. Really bad. And just remembering that story that I just have to tell you here, which is, remember that my great colleague, Dr. Dan Murphy out of California, told the story years ago. A woman comes to his clinic. She's maybe 30, good shape, chronic pain for years. No one can figure it out. On his history form, he has a list. What do you eat and drink and so forth? But he has on there, like I do now, he has a checklist. Soda, do you drink any? Yes or no. Diet soda, do you drink any? Yes or no. She checked, yes. How many per day? She wrote 6. 6 diet sodas per day. Okay. To some of you that sounds extreme. Others of you looking at this like, yeah, I kind of do that too. Now, she wasn't getting calories from that, but she was getting the taste enhancers that were knocking her neurons, messing up her inflammatory system, creating chronic pain. He said, you want to get better, nix the diet soda. She was motivated. She knocked out the diet soda, pain gone. Pretty cool, huh? So sometimes stuff like that, it's one thing that makes a difference. Regarding nutrition, chronic pain, irritation in the immune system, one of the biggest things that I can tell people is don't consume what baby cows consume. Okay? So baby cows drink cow's milk. Adult cows don't drink cow's milk. Adult animals of any species after weaning don't have any milk either. Kangaroos don't drink cow's milk. Rats don't drink elephant milk. So no species drinks the milk of another species, and no animals drink milk after weaning, except for humans. Now, I can't tell you how many people I have cleared up in the past 500 years of being in practice. When I give them one thing, I said, hey, I think your skin problems, your hair problems, your gastrointestinal problems, your autoimmune troubles sometimes, your allergies, seasonal allergies, asthma, psoriasis, eczema, and so forth, which is, by the way, whacking the immune system, back to what we're talking about here, strengthening the immune system, like, get the dairy products out of there. Anything from the udder of a cow, get that out of there. And some people do it, lots of people don't, but the people that do it, they usually say, they come back and say, for a quack, that was some pretty good advice. That was pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I can just tell you story after story. I'll tell you one quick one. Actually, if you subscribe to my YouTube page, you know this, and if not, please go subscribe. And go look up, put in dairy products into the search, or asthma, or allergies, or eczema, and you'll pop up to the videos that I've done on this before. But I'll tell you one quick story, two of them actually. One is a man who said, you know, I get allergies that kick in the summer. He says, not in the spring, not in the fall, he gets them in the summer. So the two of us had to sit down and we had to talk this out. I said, what's going on in the summer? And after some questioning and so forth, we weaved our way through it. And I found out that during the summer with his kids, he would go out and have ice cream like twice a week. And he wasn't doing that winter, spring, fall, but just, you know, couple months in the summer when school was out, right? Reasonable thing, right? But he was really in bad shape. He just was really uncomfortable. He was totally motivated, knocked it out, problems went away, and he would just get like a sherbet or you know, something like that, Italian ice or something, instead of ice cream. So he still enjoyed his time with the kids, but he wasn't suffering with the symptoms any longer. So sometimes that can make a change. And of course, if he's activating his immune system with mucus production and causing all these troubles, he's going to whack his immune system, not allowing his defensive mechanisms to handle viruses, the trillions upon trillions upon trillions of them. 1 to the 30th is the number of viruses in the air and soil and earth, or something like that, whatever that number is. So he's going to be able to coexist with the viruses on the planet better because he's not whacking his immune system. So that's a little bit about nutrition. Last comment I want to make about that. Oh, I was going to tell you one more story. So the other story was this young woman, maybe 30 years old. She comes to me super reluctant to go to the chiropractor. 1,000 people basically grabbed her, dragged her in because she was complaining of lower back pain and sciatica. So she came in. She said, I don't want to be here, but everybody told me to be here. So we worked her over, and a couple of weeks she's feeling good. A month into it, she's like, wow, this is really wonderful. I'm glad I came. And then she said, hey, you've helped me so much now. I've got terrible year-round allergies what do you got for me? And I said, no dairy products, thanks, bye. She was motivated, she did it, knocked it out, wrote me a beautiful testimonial. It's on my website, so check that out. Little changes can make a difference. Last thing on nutrition is, and by the way, we're going to be giving you 7 things tonight. This is number 1. So 7 things to help your immune system. And the other thing about nutrition is, don't overwhelm yourself. If you need a complete overhaul and you can't do it, don't overwhelm yourself. Think 10%. Can you make a 10% shift? Sure you can. Can you eat 10% more vegetables at your meals? Sure you can. Can you knock down the volume of your dinner by 10%? Sure. Can you convert 10% of your snacks from addictive chips and other things like that and move it towards vegetables with a healthy dip? Of course you can do that. Can you maybe skip the snack between dinner and bedtime, which will change the way that your insulin is produced, which will change your brain's activity, whether it's thinking it's asleep, time to wake up, or time to go to sleep. If you get the blood sugar rise, then the brain thinks it's time to get up, so you're not going to fall asleep as easily, and you're not going to stay asleep as easily. So that's going to affect your sleep, which is going to affect your immune system. So think 10%. 10% shifts, 10% moving towards vegetables, 10% smaller dinner, maybe skipping that snack in between dinner and bedtime, maybe not drinking any calories. Pick one of those things, maybe eliminating dairy products as an example. Doing those things can make a difference. So don't overwhelm yourself, just kind of grab on one, maybe write it down, put it on the fridge, make a note, have something on your phone that comes up that this is the goal, this is the next thing that I'm going to do. We're going to work with the kids to do this. Get your kids involved, drag your kids into the kitchen, do it together as a team. If you do it together as a team, there's better success. That's number 1, nutrition, immune system. Number 2, exercise. I think everybody realizes exercise is important for all of those 50 trillion beautiful cells in your body. They get activated with nerve impulses and they communicate with each other better with exercise. Your body, the movement of your body in a gravity environment by firing the neuromusculoskeletal nerve endings in your tissues, firing the brain. That's why most of you feel pretty darn good after your exercise, right? Okay, so you're getting that. Then you release chemicals in your brain that make you feel awesome, and the fact that you exercise makes you feel awesome. And when you do that, that's going to, again, release more chemicals that make you feel good, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, and so forth. All those ones that are positive chemicals that are going to fight the fight or flight chemicals, adrenaline, and so forth. So every time you exercise, you're making that shift in your chemistry, shift in inflammatory cycles. Every time you exercise, you're going to regulate your sympathetic parasympathetic balance a little bit better. Sympathetic being fight or flight, parasympathetic being rest and digest. Most of us, particularly when we're running a rat race, we're going to be too much sympathetic, which is going to inhibit and mess up your immune system. Okay? And that's why when you're stressed out, you tend to get sick more. Most of us probably have found that. When you're relaxed and blissful and happy and great news and people around you are doing wonderful and you're doing wonderful, you tend to get sick less. Okay? When you're stressed out, you're not sleeping as well, you're not eating as well, you're not exercising as much, and so on and so forth. That affects all that entire system. Your immune system is not up to snuff. That's when I get ill. I get usually sick once per year. And that's typically, I've missed a couple of days of good rest or whatever. It's usually during the winter, and boom, that's when I get sick. Is I got a couple of days, a few days in a row strung together. It just happens, you know. Got stuff coming in, didn't handle it well enough, get stressed out a little bit, not sleeping, immune system is down. Opportunistic viruses are on us, in us, around us all the time. We coexist, we're doing well, but sometimes when the force field of the enterprise drops, some of those bad guys come in, they replicate, they have a party, boom. And so our immune system has to shift to another mechanism to keep you healthy. And there you go, when we call those symptoms being sick. So we know that exercise, again, do not exercise, don't make nutritional changes without talking to your doctor first. Remember that. Please talk to your doctor and do that before you're making any changes. Do not make any medication changes and so forth. If you're not exercising now, talk to your doctor first. Get some exercise. Start, again, if you're not doing anything, start slowly. Myself as a chiropractor in my office, I see too many people going into too much all at once. We got to back it down. We have to deal with injuries and so on and so forth. Ramp it up slowly and then stay on board, right? That's the key. Quick thing about exercise is I always pose the question, tell me what's better. What do you think is better for the human body? Is it walking 1 mile a day, 7 days a week, or walking 7 miles on Sunday and nothing else for the rest of the week? You got it. Doing a little bit every day, doing the 1 mile a day, 7 days a week is better. So I'd actually rather see somebody work out 20 minutes a day, 6 days a week, rather than 1 hour a day, 2 days a week. I think the 20 minutes is better. Mix it up, get changes, get assistance if you need to. Remember to talk with your doctor. That's the thing about exercise. Do it. I think it's really important. Number 3 is sleep. I have done shows on sleep. Sleep is incredibly important. Most of the sleep scientists that you read in the books, like Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep, I did a program in 2020 on his stuff. Unbelievable stuff. If you missed it on this show, go to my YouTube page, search for sleep. It'll come up. Did a nice half hour on that. Great stuff. Andrew Huberman. Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist. He's new to me, and I know some of you are probably like, why is he new to you? He's been out there for a while, just crushing it. So he's super good. I heard him on Rich Roll's podcast, starting to look at his stuff. Wow, he's really sharp. So if you want some stuff about building your brain, taking care of your brain, taking care of your immune system and the rest of your body, go to it, look at his stuff. One of the things that Matthew Walker says, I think this is such an ingenious thing, set an alarm to go to bed. Set an alarm to go to bed, not to get up. Well, you might need that too, right? But set an alarm to go to bed. What an ingenious idea. Shut off the electronics as best you can and so forth, things to work out. There's a list of things that you can make your sleep environment more productive and so on and so forth. So that's sleep, that's number 3. Number 4, taking care of your spine and going to the chiropractor. Taking care of your spine and going to your chiropractor. Really great idea. Now we know, because I've talked about this for 1,000 years on this show and other shows that I've done, if you take care of your spine, you're taking care of everything. As I talked about earlier, you've got nerve endings everywhere in your body and the muscles and tendons and joints that are the number 1 input into your brain. You fire these more, you're turning the lights on in the brain better. Make sense? So you turn on the lights in the brain, you create those neural connections, you make them stronger, you make new ones. That's why new exercise is always good and so forth. The highest concentration of those special mechanoreceptor, proprioceptor nerve endings are in the tissues in and around your spine. So the better we take care of our spine, not this, but that, not this, but that, and good flexibility and range of motion, and making sure you get checked at the chiropractor before you have symptoms. Bring your car for maintenance before it makes noises and you're broken down on the side of the road. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, exercise your teeth 3 times a day before your teeth hurt and you get gum problems and teeth problems and so forth. And if your teeth are great, get them checked at the dentist. Same thing with the spine. Before you have spine pain and you're crippled and you're like this and you can't move and you can't work and you can't enjoy your life, go to the chiropractor and get your spine checked. That's my recommendation to you if you're into that kind of thing, if you're into the wellness thing, if you take care of your car and your teeth and you want to take care of your body and your spine and your immune system and your brain, there you go. So we know that chiropractic has an effect on sympathetic parasympathetic effects because there's a great study in 1997 about kids in ear infections, and the kids under chiropractic care did better than the kids without chiropractic care for ear infections, acute and chronic. We know of a great study that with 1 chiropractic adjustment, it improves blood flow to the brain. If that's happening, that's a sympathetic effect. That's dampening and quieting the sympathetic effect, which is going to improve blood flow to everything. In this case, it was the brain. That's pretty important. We've got 3 studies now on reducing blood pressure in people after 1 chiropractic adjustment. You've heard me report on this in the past. 2 of the studies I'm thinking of right now was 1 adjustment, not even manual stuff, not even manual, light force stuff. 1 was up here on the atlas area and got 8 weeks of improvements in blood pressure on the experimental group that received the chiropractic care. Another one was 1 chiropractic adjustment in the thoracic region with a light force instrument. And again, that was with a group that received nothing and a group that received fake chiropractic care. Only the group that received the real adjustments got the improvements in blood pressure. So blood pressure improvements, blood flow to the brain, immune system effects. That's why you take care of your spine and brain and immune system, and you undergo chiropractic care. You do all the exercises or ergonomic changes and read the best book, the greatest book ever read on spinal care on your own, called Happy Back. That's my book. So read that. Number 5 is stress. So dealing with chronic stress is really important. I think this is the one thing that isn't talked about enough when it comes to avoiding chronic health problems, avoiding immune system problems, making sure that you're fortifying your immune system so you can coexist with viruses better, taking care of those beautiful 50 trillion cells that you have in your body by not giving them the wrong inflammatory chemicals all the time, but giving them more chemicals that keep us in a better state, reducing those chronic stress scenarios as best you can. And you can't necessarily change circumstances, but you can control your reaction to circumstances. That's the whole thing that I've talked about in all my prior shows. So you can look into meditation, mindfulness, prayer, whatever circumstances, deep breathing and so forth. It could be EFT, whatever the techniques are, whatever you need, go get assistance, work with programs, and see what you can do to reduce chronic stress. Number 6, we do know that there are supplements that help the immune system. We know that there are supplements that help the immune system. Dr. Anthony Fauci reported this back in 2020 and 2021. Dr. Anthony Fauci takes 6,000 international units of vitamin D per day. He said, that's a good idea. I've read the literature. Why does he do that? He's a scientist. He read the literature. He says this is a good idea. He also takes 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. I think you can take more than that, particularly if you're ill. If your vitamin D is low, maybe you need 10,000 international units per day. But get your levels checked. I think people should know their omega-6, omega-3 fat ratio. I've talked about that. People should know their vitamin D level. People should know their RBC magnesium level, not plasma. So look into that. A regular blood test is going to be plasma, not accurate. You need RBC magnesium, more on another day. I recommend omega-3 fish oil. I've got this stuff on my videos, on my YouTube page, on my website. Number 2, you want a blend of antioxidants, B, C, E, CoQ10, alpha-lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine, and so on and so forth. You can get a blend of them, and I have people taking 1 tablet per day. Vitamin D3 we already talked about. You want to be 50 to 70 on your blood test is the ideal level. K24, K27, vitamin K is now important with the immune system. You want to be taking that. Zinc, of course, you've heard a lot about that with that little seasonal flu virus some people call COVID-19. So you want to be taking some zinc, maybe 20 milligrams a day. Check with your doctor. Check with your doctor if you're taking any medications. Do not take any supplements without checking with your doctor first. Magnesium is a great idea. Definitely vitamin C. I think probiotics to get your gut in shape is important. Definitely, we'll spend more time talking about your gut health, your gut flora, your microbiome of your gut. 70% of your immune system is here. That relationship between the outside, which is actually the tube where your food is, and all the bacteria that are there, and the interaction between the bacteria and your intestinal wall and your bloodstream and the immune system that's on the other side is a critical component. All that leaky gut stuff is what I'm talking about here too. So you want to keep that flora up, particularly if you've needed antibiotics for any reason. You want to be repopulating your gut with the proper flora. And number 7 is water. I would say, just a rough number, 70% of the people that come into my office are chronically low-level dehydrated. Some of them even worse than that. And I'll ask people how much water you're drinking. They don't know. I tell them I want you to measure it, know how many ounces you're taking, and so on and so forth. We just have them increasing their water a little bit, and there we go. Again, don't be going from no water to a ton. That can be a problem, particularly if you're on medications. Check with your doctor first. But a lot of older people that have to get up and go to the bathroom are scared of drinking water. That's why on my water programs in the past, I've always said front load the day, drink more of your water earlier in the day, in the afternoon, and kind of shut that down in the evening. Remember, you've been blessed. You've been gifted with an amazing body, 50 trillion cells. All of these cells are a living unit and city all by itself. Let's have that appreciation for it, the gratitude that you have this miraculous body. We need to take better care of it, all of us. And we probably, with these things right here, see a lot of us get through COVID-19 and other seasonal flu viruses much, much better. I'm Dr. Scott Fuller. Thank you.